Welcome the final hours of Half-Life Alyx. Let's go. Begin. The gift for burning. Chapter 1. The gift for burning. Illustration by Mike McCurdy. When he was 9 years old in 1998, James J. Benson would close his eyes and imagine the immersive thrill of playing a specific video game. Growing up, the son of a divorced primary school teacher and a Royal Air Force navigator on an Alyx aircraft, Benson most of the time lived at his mom's house in Southport, England, with a Mary a computer in sight. But every other weekend, Jay visited Dad and Dad's PC on the RAF Weddington base. On most Saturday, Benson and his dad went fishing or took a bike ride around the shed. But if Jay, or Judgman as his dad called him, was being really honest, all he wanted to do was boot up his Pop's PC and stand inside his trip, a video game named Half-Life. Since he could only sneak in a couple of hours of gameplay every other weekend, it took young Benson over 6 months to maneuver his way out of the Black Mesa research facility, meet the G-Man, and finish Half-Life. And that was only after carefully copying in his saved game files not to erase his stats to Jay Benson and to millions of gamers around the world. Playing Half-Life with its alchemic blend of genre-defining narrative, intense combat, and vibrant ambience was a formative experience. Half-Life has cascaded through gaming and popular culture for more than 2 decades. Some people play and appreciate video games from a distance, treating them as no more than an escapist hobby. Jay Benson, it turns out, is not one of those people. Even in the years after Half-Life's releases, Benson could not stop thinking about the game's most resonant moments, which tumbled through his mind like lucid dreams. Valve J. Benson. When he flunked out of university at age 17 and started serving bank beans to old ladies at a local cafe, Benson sat in the break room, closed his eyes, and started daydreaming once again. This time he set an audacious personal goal. In 3 years, he told himself he was going to get a job working at Valve, one of the most venerated game developers in the world. There was just one problem, or part of many. You see, Jay did not have any particular game design skill beyond dashing together what might charitably be described as fanfic levels in the RPG game Neverwinter Nights. He did not program, he did not draw, although his girlfriend Jenny thought him to be a very creative individual. Undeterred, Judgman flew to the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco to hone, or perhaps better put, to discover his unrivaled craft. His first stop, a game design talk by Robin Walker, a Valve developer behind Team Fortress 2. Galvanized by Walker's 1-hour JC session, Benson spun into action. He described his mindset to the Chris Team Fortress podcast in 2010. If you want to do something great, feeling relaxed is a bad feeling, he said over voice chat. Why am I going home and browsing the internet or watching Glee or House when I could be creating something? Benson formulated a plan. Over the next year, he would teach himself how to create a game animation working at his girlfriend's parents' house from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day. I am a withered husk of a man, like the charger, and left for dead too. Just one giant arm clicking a mouse, Benson explained to the podcast. To track his progress, he wrote down how many frames of animation he completed every day in a streamer's diary book from GDC. If he did not get anything done, he forced himself to write no finished frames to memorialize his laziness. On the days he wrote those words, Benson remembered a quote from Valve co-founder Gavin Newell. He read in Age magazine, "The greatest fear most people have is being scared for the loss of their abilities." Video Jay's original Half-Life trailer. Let's play this.
Good morning, and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System. This train is en route from Level 3 dormitories to Sector C test labs and control facilities. The time is 8:47 a.m. Thank you, and have a very safe and productive day.
Good morning, Mr. Freeman. Looks like you're running late.
I'm afraid we'll be deviating a bit from standard analysis procedures
Gordon
today.
doesn't need to hear all this. He's a highly trained professional.
Welcome to the HEV Mark IV protective system.
All right, Gordon. Your suit should keep you comfortable through all this.
Power to stage 1 emitters in 3, 2, 1. I'm showing a small discrepancy in... well, no, it's well within acceptable bounds again.
Go ahead, Gordon.
Oh yeah! Gordon! It's not shutting down! It's not...
enjoyed. Huge thanks to Valve Software for making projects like this possible, and my fans for supporting the ridiculous first time. Think. Okay. Let's go. On June 10, 2010, Benson posted his first animation to YouTube, a 20-second clip of the sniper in Team Fortress dancing to Sleep. Music Factory is gonna make you sweat. Everybody dance now. I would love if somebody working in the business could tell me a ballpark estimation of how my skill level is doing in regard to being a professional proposition. Thanks for your time. He posted on the Polycount forum as Judgment9575. The 9575, in case you were wondering, was his iPhone pin at the time. Benson had a knack for something. His series of Windseeker Team Fortress videos gained hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. Emboldened, he turned to Half-Life and spent 6 weeks creating a reimagined trailer for the original game with fluid new animation for Jordan Freeman's hands and in-game enemies like headcrab. The video quickly went viral, amassing over 2 million views. Animator Cares bored waiting starts creating his own version of Half-Life 3. Read the headline on kick.com. By now, you probably wondering when Gabriel sends Jay Benson an email inviting him to come work at the Dream Factory. Those videos were 100% auditions to get Valve's attention. Benson's now surprisingly admits, but they did not work. The email from Gavin never arrived. Half-Life. This is Jay Benson's reviews, the headcrab's model. At the bottom, the original Half-Life CD on Jay Benson's desk at Valve. Determined to wheedle his way in, Benson applied for a Valve job at age 21, just as he told himself he would. He did not get past the phone interview. The second time he applied, Benson managed to get an in-person interview in Seattle. But after taking beta blockers due to sheer nerve, he screwed up the interview question about designing a villain for Aquaman. It was not meant to be. Helpless, Benson settled for a $22,000 a year job, a junior animator as Lionhead on the cancelled Kick-Ass game Milo and Katie. After getting laid off there, he worked on animation for a series of acclaimed games, the indie darling Ori and the Blind Forest and Campo Santo's brilliant Firewatch. No matter what game he was animating, Benson kept a totem by his desk side. He dads said jewel case for the original Half-Life with a PC Gamer Game of the Month sticker on it. With his fall dreams thwarted, Benson, like the rest of the gaming world, carried a faint hope for a consolation prize, getting a play a new Half-Life game which saw its last installment, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, released 13 years ago in 2007. It's Monday, February 3, 2020, the day after the Super Bowl at 3 p.m. sharp. Just off the lobby of Valve's 14th floor office in Bellevue, Washington, a stream of people begins to file into a large open room customarily reserved for VR playtesting. In total, more than 80 employees of Valve, nearly one quarter of the company, are arriving for the weekly status meeting on Half-Life Alyx. This full-on virtual reality game marks Valve's triumphant returns to both the Half-Life franchises and single-player story-driven games. This is short of the Battle of Hell's Deep in terms of Valve, the largest team we ever had on the project, explained Jim Hawks, a Valve designer and Star Wars superfan who, in his spare time, killed bashes and 3D prints models of TIE bombers and X-Wings. One day he plans to reflame the Dead Star trench run in his living room. Slide floor, the Monday meeting, and Valve headquarters. As the developer circles up around product land, Robin Walker, it's hard not to be struck by the generation represented and that the team is still predominantly male and white, something Greg Coomer at Valve acknowledges it needs to fix. There are patrons who shipped the original Half-Life more than 2 decades ago next to those who worked on the equally acclaimed Half-Life 2 in 2004. Sprinkled among them are a new batch of developers who joined Valve in the past decade, hoping that they might one day get to help create a new Half-Life. One of the people in that the last category nervously stand off to the side in an Oxford shirt, gnawing at the plastic top of a water bottle. His name, the jazz man himself, Jay Benson, who joined Valve when it acquired Campo Santo in 2018. Who could tell you the story about how, when Benson received access to Valve's computer network, he summarily downloaded every cancelled project and was flagged by it as a hacker, but we'll spare him that full embarrassment. This is the battle of Ham Steve in terms of Valve, said Jim Huff. With the group assembled in a semicircle, Walker stands between two whiteboards filled with words and chairs. One board correlates team member names such as Tristan Redford with tasks like finishing the weapon skin. Tristan refuses to play any section of the game with a hard crab because it freaks him out in fear. The other whiteboard is a calendar for the next 6 weeks broken into 3 pages. Final development, serious bugs only, and showstoppers only, meaning bugs that would cause the game to crash if everything goes according to plan. It all culminates on March 20, circled in red, as the 10th Half-Life Alyx will be complete after 4 years of top secret development. As the meeting begins, Walker, an affable Australian with a well-coiffed development beard, looks around and addresses the assembled mass. A lot of people are setting their paths to critical because it's the default. Please check if it's really critical before looking in that way, he says. Also, someone has been trying to simulate playing the game through with one functional arm. We want to support this, so we need an owner that can take that on. Any update on part, Walker says, shorthand for inquiring if there are any issues with the game's frame. We're dropping a critical issue in a VR game that needs to run at 90 frames per second in 3D. It started to look better than it has in a while, so that's promising, response Michael Copeland, an 11-year veteran of Valve who admits he has not yet shipped a game at Valve because his project kept getting cancelled. But please prioritize minimum spec machines on your playtest, he tells the team. Robin Walker project leaked. Robin joined Valve in 1998 to work on Team Fortress. At the opposite end of the room, Dario Casale, who designed levels for the original Half-Life some 32 years ago, threw out a questions about the level he's been heading up. The Vault, as it's known, is the final sequence which has gone through a significant overhaul in the past 6 months. Are you still gathering external playtester through? He asked the room. Yes, but the last 2 could not get through to the end of the game. schedule problem, explained designer Jeff Laney, who heads up the playtest when he is not racing motorcycle. Well, I am not getting enough external data on the last map. Casually admonished to the group. We have 3 weeks to change the balance and not enough people are playing through it. Finally, Walker turns to his right. He looks to Benson, probably not even realizing he inspired him to get into game development a decade ago. Jay, how are your gameplay videos coming together? Benson turns to editing a series of 3 gameplay videos for YouTube, opens his eyes wide, lifts his chin, and cracks a smile. Oh, quite well, he says. The survival horror video is watchable now, and I had loved some feedback from you guys. To some, Half-Life Alyx represents nothing more than an ambitious, bordering on absurd virtual reality experience for a limited audience. After all, just 1% of Steam customers own a VR set. But to those who know Valve-based, Alyx serves as a much bigger inflection point for one of the video game industry most revered studios, often seen as mysterious, impenetrable, and downright unpredictable. Valve's traditional game output has dramatically decreased, or rather downright stopped, over the past decade, plus with billions of dollars in revenue from Steam. Valve industry lending PC distribution services. Some wondered if Valve was impervious to its clamoring fanbase and resigned to let Half-Life live on only in our memories. Half-Life Alyx proves otherwise. I guess you could say this is the story of how we fixed Valve, said Robin Walker. We care that there are these public perceptions that everyone who worked on Half-Life left and that Valve does not know how to make these games anymore, explained Phil Coe, a veteran Valve level designer. Part of what motivated us on this project too was to show everyone what this place is still capable of creating. As it turns out, Valve has been creating over the past decades with little of that work publicly exposed. Half-Life Alyx, for instance, represents at least Valve's 6th attempt to do something new with the Half-Life propriety since Half-Life 2 Episode 2 ended in 2007 with the illusory promise of Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Valve is in the unique position of having what poet Adrini Rich praised, the gift of burning. Unlike many other creative studios, Valve has the luxury, or you could argue, the curse of shutting down and redoing projects and infinite time until something emerges that is deemed worthy of its customers' time and money. Now, for the first time, Valve opens up about the past decades behind closed doors. From the cancelled project, the struggles to create a new game engine, and where the company pushed into hardware and virtual realities, shipping Half-Life Alyx is the bright end of a decade-long session filled with the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. A lot of people came to Valve because of what they thought it represented, and it has not always been that place the past decade. Walker openly admits to me one afternoon, for those of us who were here in our past decade, we knew Valve could still be that. Some of the project was about trying to give the people who joined Valve in the second decade that experience we failed in the first. Walker pauses for a minute and closes his eyes as if to remember the indescribable yet magical feeling that comes with shipping a genre-defining games. It is perhaps the exact feeling that young, impressionable Jay Benson picked up on when he heard Walker talk back in 2010 at the Game Developers Conference. Walker then continues, speaking in a way that suggests like any good programmer, he has found a more efficient way to express his thought. I guess you could say this is the story of how we fixed Valve.